All right, guys, we've been focusing on first-time home buyers for the last couple of weeks. This week, we're going to bump the numbers up a little bit.
You better get fired up.
What's happening, man? Happy Wednesday. Glad you guys joined me. I am going to open up, let's see if I can find it here, the MLS. So you guys will be able to see, here it is. You should be able to see it now. You can see exactly what I'm seeing as a realtor, right? And I'm going to come through. I want to get you some data. I want some smart people in my audience. When you go to buy or sell, I want you not just to do it based on emotion. I want you to do it based on facts. So we're going to get you some facts today, all right? We've been looking at first-time home buyers in that, 2, 3, 4, maybe even up to 450 price point. That tends to be the hotter market right now. I'm seeing two completely separate markets. So last weekend when I looked up inventory rates on Wednesday, it was 3.26 months. I'm going to do it again here today for you so we can kind of see that trend week to week. But then I also want to look from that $500 to $1 million range, right? That's kind of the upper level of Port St. Lucie. There aren't a lot of homes out there over $1 million in Port St. Lucie. If you want that, you're going to have to go up to Fort Pierce on the Water or down to northern Martin County, something like that. Not that there aren't any homes, but there aren't a lot in Port St. Lucie over that $1 million range. Certainly, by the population, you're going to find a heck of a lot more in northern Martin County and in Fort Pierce than you are in Port St. Lucie. So that 500 to $1 million really covers, I guess, what I would say is the luxury market here in Port St. Lucie. It's not a very high luxury market, but like I said, that's about as high as it gets here in Port St. Lucie with few exceptions, right? So we're going to go through. First thing I want to do is look up single family home inventory. I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. So right now we're looking at Port St. Lucie, and I'm going to come down to single family detached. I'm going to jot down this number 1103, and I'm going to show you where I'm finding that number. It's right up here in the left corner, right? I honestly don't know if you can see my cursor, but it's on the left side. It says view results 1103. So that's how many single family homes are in Port St. Lucie for sale right now, okay? But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up the last 60 days in sales. So today is what, the 22nd, so that's 22 days plus February is 28, that's 50, so I need another 10. So let's go back into January and grab those 10 days, 1, 2, 3, and 10, there it is. And we've got 688 sales, so that's 344 a month, okay? So if I take 1103 that we have active divided by the 344 a month we're selling, that means we've got 3.21. It's actually come down a little bit, which is interesting. Everybody says this is a softening market, but, in the industry, we're really starting to see, we were talking about it this morning in our meeting, we're really starting to see that the trend has changed, right? Inventory was going up. It hit about 4 or 5 months, and then it started coming back down, right? So I think people are kind of getting used to these rates. They're getting used to these prices. They still want to purchase homes, so they're getting out there. But I will tell you that first-time home buyer market is really driving it. Again, I'm not going to look it up today, but it was 1.5 something weeks in inventory from 2 to 400,000 when I looked it up last week. And when I looked up was it 500 plus? No, it was 6 to 800,000. It was 6.49 months. So 6.5 compared to 1.5, way different market. You're looking at a soft buyer's market, 6 to 800, and you're looking at in a very, very strong seller's market in that 2 to 400 range. So now today, again, I want to focus heavily on that 500 plus. So let's come back to actives. And come on, Joe. We'll look at solds first. So we're going to go to solds, Port St. Lucie. So, okay, great. I'm going to add sold price. Where is it? Right here. And we're going to come into 500 to $1 million. So how many sold in the last 6 months? We've got 89, which is 44.5 per month. Okay, 44.5 per month or per 30-day period. So now what we're going to do, we're going to get rid of sold price, and we're going to come up to actives. But we're going to look at list price, 500 grand to $1 million. And you can see right here, we've got 322. Okay. So let's pull that trusty calculator out, 322, and we're selling 44.5 a month on average. That gives us 7.24 months of inventory when you're looking at that 500 plus. So at 3.21 months, I would say that is a soft seller's market. I always say 4 to 6 is kind of neutral. Anything under 4 is a seller's market. Anything over 6 is a buyer's market. So at 3.21 months, I'd say it is a soft seller's market, but it's trending that way. Like I said, it was 3.26 last week. Now it's 3.21. I wouldn't take too much stock in that. That's not a big enough move, and it's only 1 week. But this isn't the first week I've seen it. I've seen it several weeks in a row, right? Now the 7.24 for 500 to a million, that tells me it is I would just call it a buyer's market. It's not a weak buyer's market. It's not a strong buyer's market. It is a buyer's market. If you're a seller, the bad news is, yeah, it's going to be a little more challenging to sell. You're going to want a way better realtor who's got an incredible marketing plan. There's 4 reasons a home doesn't sell. You're going to want to go through those different things and make sure that you are clicking on all cylinders. Get yourself a great agent, right? But there's a big difference. So let's look at some of these properties that are for sale right now. We got 322. How long have they been on the market? That's a big thing, right? Because some of these homes are sitting a little bit longer. Let's see. Where's days on market? Right here and descending. Now, most people are going to do a 6-month contract. You'll see right here. That's obviously doesn't apply to everybody, but that's what a lot of people do. But you can see we got 1,300 days. Holy smokes, that's almost 4 years. 878 days, 877, 874, 860. But if we go to, let's say, 6 months or longer, right? 180, right here. 42 of the 322, 42 divided by 322, that's 13% have been sitting on for 6 months or longer, right? Those homes probably are going to have a challenging time selling, especially if they look that market warm. What I see is when a buyer comes in, even if it's wonderfully priced and it's just maybe a higher priced property or it's a very unique property that's going to attract a very unique buyer, a lot of people will say, a lot of buyers will say, this person must be desperate. They've been on forever. Let's come in low. Now, does that mean that they're desperate? No. In fact, it could mean the opposite. Maybe they got a bunch of offers that were a grand low and they just didn't want to take it because they would not budge. Maybe they're not desperate at all, but it's the perception that really drives the initial offers. So you'll see once you've been on for, say, 2-3 months or longer, you're going to have a really challenging time unless somebody falls in love with your house. You're going to have a really challenging time getting a full price offer, right? Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible, but it is much more challenging in the first 30 days, especially, but even 60 days, it's a lot easier to get that full price offer. And in a competitive market, which right now is at $200,000 to $400,000 range, you're going to get over asking in a lot of situations because we've got multiple offers. So coming down, let's look at how many have been on 90 days or more. Where's my days on market? There it is. All right, 90 days or more. Holy smokes. We got to really come down here. Okay, right here. So we've got 122 out of 322, which is 38% of the market, right? So almost 2 out of every 5 homes in that 500 to a million range has been on for at least 90 days. That's really interesting. Okay, how many have been on 30 days or longer? If you've got a really smoking house and it's a stronger market, and it's dressed up well, it's priced well, everything about it is really marketed well, you're probably going to sell in 30 days. We've got 227 that have not sold in the last 30 days, and that is 70.5%. Right? So that's 7 out of every 10 500 plus listings in Port St. Lucie that have been on for more than a month and have not sold. That's really interesting. And you got to remember, a lot of these that are at 23 days, 19 days, 4 days, they were on the market and they were either expired or they canceled the listing and then they brought it on maybe a month or 2 later, right? And they started back at 0. Those listings are in there too, and they haven't sold. And so it's just really important to kind of see those numbers. Now, for sellers, you might be saying, oh, that's really challenging. Guys, for buyers, that is phenomenal news. If you've been looking to purchase a home and you've been that patient, $500,000 to $1 million buyer, now is the time to get in. You've got way more inventory than you had in the past. A year ago on this day, if you were a buyer looking in the $500 to $1 million range, you had less than 30 days of inventory available to you. Now you've got 7.24 months. That's a lot of inventory available to you. Like I said, 322 options. Back a year ago, you might have 100 options, and we were selling 110, 120 a month that were in that price range. So even if you went and found it, it was gone before you texted me back 2 hours later to tell me you wanted to put an offer in, right? Now you've got a lot of options to look at, which is phenomenal. Last thing I want to look at, I want to come into edit search and I want to come to those that sold from, this date. And this is 60 days ago, right? January 22nd. I think it was 89 sales. Why is it not showing me now? Why is it not showing me? Well, I'm pretty sure it's 89 sales. Let me come to list and see if that's true. We should see right up here in the top left, go, it's thinking, oh, we got 96. Okay, well, I don't know how that changed. How did it change? Oh, I know how. Because we have list price, we got to come down to sales price. Sold price. There we go. All right, there's our 89. Perfect. So now when I come to list, what I want to look up is what was the sales price compared to the original ask price, right? So this is going to tell you guys, those of you who have been waiting, right? You took your time in the 500 to $1 million range. You waited. You wanted to see the market drop. What are you now able to submit on average for homes that are actually selling? What are you able to submit as a percentage of that asking price and actually get it accepted? So you can see that 12 out of 89, which is 13.5%, sold for over asking price. Okay. Now, some of these I can already tell. I shouldn't say I can tell. Let me go back and look at one other thing. Yeah, some of them. So you've got here, this is a 2022, 2022, 2022. I see this one's listed as a Coulter home. This one, who knows? Sometimes what'll happen is you'll sell a new construction home. Let's say you sell for 600 grand and the buyer says, hey, I actually want this and this and this, and I want to change this and upgrade this and take this out and add this. Okay, cool. That's going to be 700 grand. Okay, cool. So now it shows that we were asking 600, but we sold for 700. And so it'll say that we sold for X percent over, right? They paid for all the things we gave them, but we gave them more than we initially said we were going to give them. So in new construction, it's a little bit skewed. So just with those three, be aware of that. But it's roughly, I'd say 10 to 13% of the homes are still selling for over ask. Why would they sell for over ask other than the new construction story I just gave you? Because some of these homes are very sought after. If you're on a great lot, if you're on a golf course, if you're in PGA Village, if you are on a beautiful piece of water, if you've got a half acre, whatever it is in Port St. Lucie, man, that's gold. If you got a home that just was recently redone or it's brand new and it looks amazing, it's got a lot of bells and whistles, if it's aggressively priced, it's going to attract multiple offers. Multiple offers always tends to get you up and over the asking price, right? So that's what you're going to see with a lot of these 10 to 13%. So now let's come down and see what percent are selling for 100% or more. And you can see right here, that's 37 of the 89. So 37 divided by 89, that's 41.5%, or we'll just say roughly 2 out of 5. 2 out of every 5 that you're seeing that have sold in the last 60 days in that $500 to $1 million range are selling for asking price or higher. Okay. So of those that are not, what are they selling for? We got a couple at 99. And when I say a couple, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we've got a bunch at 98, a bunch at 97, 96, 95. And then you've got a few down here that sold for 93, 91, 87, 85, 85, 81, 77. Now, you might have some things going on here. Let's take a look at some of these photos, right? Yeah, so this is new construction, and I can see that the outside was drawn. This could be a lot of different things, right? It could be, hey, we're asking whatever, say 575, but they haven't gotten fully built, right? It's maybe on day 2 of a year of building. And the buyer will come in and say, hey, I don't need quartz. I want Formica. I don't need these upgraded cabinets. I need base cabinets. I don't need this flooring. I need cheaper carpet. I don't need a 3-stall garage. Let's do a 2-stall garage. And all these changes, if the builder can and is willing to make them to get the sale, they might do it. And even though the original asking price, for example, was $575, now they're selling it for $530. But they also downgraded the house. So it doesn't mean that necessarily you're getting a sweet deal. In fact, on new construction like this, you're almost never going to get that. Doesn't mean you won't, but it's going to be challenging, right? Let's go back to this list too and see of the homes that sold for, let's say 101% or more, how many days did it take to sell? 80, 119, 0, which means it sold immediately. 136, 21 days, 143, 0, 47, 20, 163, 90, 131. Really all over the place. But now coming down and looking at, what was it, 93 and under, you've got 53 days, 41 days, and then everything else is between 118 and 148 days, right? So roughly 4 to 5 months, except this one that really got lit up here in the bottom was a hair over 7 months. So you'll see the ones that are sitting on longer are the ones. So if you want a really sweet deal in that price point, it's going to be really challenging. You'll see not impossible because there was one at 53 days, one at 41 days, but it's going to be really challenging to do that in week 1, week 2, week 3, month 1, right? You're going to want to wait a little bit. Now, obviously, when you wait a little bit, you're like, but I want the house. Well, if you really want the house, go get the house and pay for it, man. If you know you're going to, like for me, right? I overpaid for my house. Why did I overpay? Because I knew this house checked all the boxes I wanted. I did not want whatever plan B was going to be. I wanted this house. It was so much better than every other option that I perceived I was going to have in front of me, right? And after waiting now, I think we've been here for about 2 years. I think I was right, man. I'm very happy with this house. Very happy that we overpaid for it. But if you're looking for a deal, you've got to let go of the idea that, hey, I want the perfect house. And you've got to marry the idea that I want the perfect deal, right? And then you're out there searching for it. You're out there shopping for it. That's probably what these people were doing. So, guys, just wanted to give you an update on that market. It is a great market. That $500,000 to $1 million market is a great market in Port St. Lucie for buyers to be looking in right now, especially if you are out of state, you're looking for a nice secondary property, something to snowbird in. Maybe you're looking for a property that you can purchase and then rent out as a higher end rental. And I'm telling you, if you get something that's not in an HOA, doesn't have restrictions, and you can VRBO it, or you can, what's the other one? Airbnb it, you're able to get some luxury prices out of that for folks who can come down, be close to the beach, be in a nice, safe area. You've got that South Florida living, and you've got a beautiful, stunning $500,000 to $1 million home. That is a great market right now. And for you as a buyer, you've got much more inventory to look at than you've had in a long time. So guys, I appreciate you joining me. If there's anything you want me to dig in a little bit deeper on, next week, we do this every single Wednesday. It's at 12:30 every single time, and we will look at anything you want within the market. I appreciate you guys joining me. Have a phenomenal day.